SportsCenter is brought to you by the United States Marine Corps. The change is forever.
Qualifying for the Pontiac 400 in Richmond rained out again. So they'll start tomorrow's race from the standings of last year's final points. Terry Labonte will have the pole. Jeff Gordon will also start from the front row. Gordon is the defending champion. He's also trying to become the first driver ever to win the first 3 races of one season. That's the latest edition of SportsCenter. Next show at 7 Eastern, Gary Miller and Andre Aldridge. I'm Chris McKendry. Up next, Charleston Southern and Liberty, the Big South Tournament title.
It's time to represent. What time is it?
I love the way you walk. I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk and talk that talk. How, hey, yeah!
Are you ready? Here we go. Championship week number 12. Mike Tirico in our studio. Welcome to 9 of the best consecutive days of the entire year if you're a sports fan. If you're going to get an automatic bid, most teams have to come through our championship week. 57 games, the conference championships galore, tip-to-trophy coverage of the ACC and the Big East Championship, and selection specials a week from tomorrow. Today, we started off with 3 automatic bids. Who's going to join Princeton and Minnesota in the field of 64. The winner of the OVC and the TAC. We'll follow that up with bowling at 5:30 Eastern Time. SportsCenter a little bit later on, then more college hoops, important games for Iowa State, and a big one in the WAC, New Mexico and Utah. And the day wrapped up on SportsCenter. But first, we start with Charleston Southern and Liberty, the championship game in their conference. Here's Ron Franklin.
Thanks, Mike Tirico. Right you are from the Vine Center in Lynchburg, Virginia. Championship of the Big South as the Charleston Southern Buccaneers take on the local heroes, the Flames of Liberty University. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Jimmy Dykes. And last night it was Charleston Southern who shocked this tournament. The number 4 seeds knocking off the number 1s from Asheville. And Jimmy, they have a shot at going to the NCAAs for the very first time. But in this championship game today, literally, it is Mr. Outside against Mr. Inside.
Yeah, Mr. Outside is Brett Lyrick from Charleston Southern. Here's a guy with a jump shot sweeter than your first kiss. And he can do it off of his own dribble, jump up, create his own look, and he is excellent at coming off screen, spotting up, boom, and dropping it. The inside guy is Peter Aluma, one of the top 5 or 6 centers in college basketball, a big inside presence, has the authority to stay after it, the tenaciousness on the glass, an inside score. He must have a big game today for Liberty.
For Liberty, they went to the tournament in 1994. As we said, Charleston Southern, they've never been there. We'll be back with the starting lineups and the opening tip from Lynchburg, Virginia after this.
ESPN's presentation of Championship Week is brought to you by Acura, who invites you to test drive the new flagship of Acura, the RL.
Part of the near-capacity house, and it's still filling up here at the Vine Center in Lynchburg. And let's take a look at the starting lineups. First of all, for the number 4 seed, Charleston Southern, brought to you by McDonald's. This is the way they open up. Larrick and Larrick. Brett is the senior, and he's the high point guy. Routinier out of Puerto Rico. One of the forwards, number 10, Daniels and Roper. Now the starters for the home folks, the number 2 seeds, the Liberty Flames. It'll be White and Jackson at the guards, Reed and Sorensen at the forwards, and Peter Aluma, the 6'10 senior, in the middle. Now we got to keep an eye on Marcus White, number 3, the junior out of Austin, Texas. Injured a groin badly last night, Jimmy, in a semifinal game. We don't know how long he can go today, and that's big.
Yeah, he's a real key because he drew the defensive assignment for Larrick. He's a penetrator, an outside shooter, and they need his presence on the floor. Runs the point.
Well, it's his right groin, and as I said, we'll keep an eye on him. He does a little bit of everything. He handles, he penetrates, and he shoots, and also plays excellent defense.
Ron, Charleston Southern opens up in man-to-man, but they're going to throw some different zone looks throughout the ball game as well.
They get it inside to Aluma. No surprise there. Misses the shot. The rebound comes away to 33, Jeff Daniels. Now, Daniels is a man who has to step up huge for them today.
Yeah, he really does, especially on the defensive end. I mean, he must keep Aluma pushed off that block to about 8 feet out.
Well, there's the shot we talked about. But that was Adam Larrick. That's the younger brother who was a sophomore from Elyria, Ohio.
Huge minutes out of the little Larrick kid right now with Errol McPherson on the bench with a knee injury. The starting point guard, he has really stepped up these last 3 or 4 ball games.
Shot off the mark and a three-point attempt, grabbed down by Arutnir. Rolando, a senior out of Puerto Rico. Three-pointer on the way. That one won't go for Jeff Daniels. Inside they battle for it, and this is going to be Sorensen who will come down with the Karen. Sorensen left alone, but the lefty passed up the shot. Now Reed, one of the things that you can watch for him today, you give him that outside shot and allow him to spot up, and he'll can the three. Aluma, a little bit beyond his range, and the ball taken by Marcus White, but he couldn't get it off the body of the Charleston Southern player in time.
Ron, we see the defensive adjustment early on Aluma. When he catches that basketball, Charleston Southern's running 2 or 3 guys at him, forcing him to become a passer from the low block.
Adam Larry. Inside to Roper, you see the double and a foul on White. That's the first on him and the first team foul. Went in the locker room just prior to the ball game and talked with Marcus, and he said he was going to try to go in that ball game last night. As you look at Tom Conrad, the head coach at Charleston Southern, he did the splits, White did, right in front of the scorer's table, and he was on crutches when he came to the arena this morning. Surprised that he's even in the lineup.
Yeah, Jeff Meyer told us if this was any other ball game, he'd be out for about a week, but
and in fact, they've just taken him out as Gabe Caldwell, during that timeout, came in the ball game. Another youngster from Austin, Texas, and a whistle and a foul, and that's on Aluma. There's Marcus on the bench. That right groin is heavily taped, and obviously they felt as though that he couldn't go in that first 2 minutes. So we'll see what exactly they plan for him as far as minutes. Che Lugo, number 45, will come into the lineup as Peter Aluma goes to the bench. He picked up his first foul just now.
Ron, I tell you, with Marcus White out of the lineup now, that's a guy that can flat out shoot the basketball as well, and that puts a real premium on Aluma as an inside scorer.
Arutnir gets both of them. Interesting thing about Arutnir is we mentioned he is from Puerto Rico. He was the last player cut on their national team for the Olympics. But he did make the 21 and under national team in Puerto Rico. Sorensen, the lefty, in and out, unlucky on the shot. You'll see 33. Jeff Daniels come away with the rebound.
Tom Conrad told me last night, he said, Jimmy, we must withstand the knockout blow early and be standing at the 4 or 5 minute mark, and they're off to a good start.
Well, 2.5 minutes just gone now, and Liberty has not gotten a point. That's not the way it was in their semifinal game last night. In fact, Aluma had 18 first-half points. Arutnir puts it up with the left hand. It's not there. And Che Lugo comes away with the ball.
Not a lot of screening out of Liberty in that half-court offense. I mean, pretty much 4 guys standing around the perimeter right now playing catch.
The other thing you're going to have to do this afternoon, speaking of Liberty, is get on the offensive boards a little better.
Yeah, because they're not a great rebounding ball club. And
in and out. First attempt taken by Brett Larrick. But the ball stays with Charleston Southern. And they lead it 4-0. 3.5 minutes into this first half. And very quickly, Aluma is off the bench and about to check back in. Knocked out of bounds by Liberty.
Now there's a guy checking in that's got a lot of NBA scouts looking at him throughout this year. Tremendous shot blocker. Very average on the glass right now, and he needs to rebound with a mean streak in him, I think, if he's going to make it at the next level.
And Caldwell goes to the bench. And Marcus White comes back into the lineup. Field goal shooting so far, 1 of 6 and 0 of 5 for the Flames.
Southern very patient on the offensive end, and they're just a gutsy, tough type team. Other than Larry without a star.
That's Roper from 15 feet, and he rips it. Charleston Southern very confident, even though they are in the visitor's house, which is a very tough place to win.
Now you see a 1-2-2 zone look out of Charleston Southern. Gives up the three-point look.
Marcus White, boy, was that ever big. 6'3", finally gets him on the scoring mark at the 15-25 or 35 mark, Jimmy.
Again, they've got to have that outside shot drop this afternoon. If not, that defense just continues to collapse inside on Mr. Aluma.
A routinier, partially blocked. Jackson got a piece of it. Sorensen has it on the floor and off to Reed. Reed will take the three. Now the crowd is in it, and this is just what Tom Conrad said they have to be so careful of in the early going.
Well, now the way to combat that is make sure you come down on this possession and get a high percentage shot, work that shot clock down, and try to put the fans back in their seats.
A routinier. Jump ball, Arrow says, stays with Charleston Southern. Timeout on the floor. 14:51 left in this Big South Championship, and we are tied. (6-6), and it took Liberty about 4 minutes and 25 seconds to get their first points.
Ron, two things to notice. Look at the pass by Sorensen out in front of Reed where he runs and catches up with it. Here's a 35% three-point shooter that you must find quickly in transition. He'll jump up and stick it, and that was a huge shot by a guy with a big Valentine, Mr. Reed.
Jeff Meyer, the head coach here at Liberty University, 16th season at this position in Lynchburg, Virginia. You see his numbers.
Well, he's taken this program through all the levels, NAIA, Division II, Division I. First NCAA berth was in 1994.
And they look for a special kind of kid here, a different kind of kid, Jimmy.
Yeah, you got to identify him in that recruiting process and be right up front with him because this is a tough academic school. They stand for a lot of quality things in their athletes, and they have not compromised building this program.
Way outside and off the mark is Brett Larrick. But Roper came away with the basketball, and again, Charleston Southern getting more than one opportunity after a shot.
You watch Adam Larrick run that point right now, and he's been averaging about 3 or 4 assists a ball game and only 1 turnover with McPherson out. That's really quality minutes out of the young Larrick.
Daniels misses. Aluma with the rebound. Wanting Aluma inside, but you can see a routinier kind of collapsing back even before the pass. And that foul will go on 33, Jeff Daniels.
Just watch Aluma on the defensive boards. I mean, there's a guy 6'11", just kind of standing and watching. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, he's got to learn to rebound on a consistent basis with an attitude. Guy's a quality young man with a lot of potential, but you would love to see him attack that glass every time the shot goes.
The officials in today's ball game, Alan Spainauer is the referee. Ray Natilli, along with Reggie Coffer. Reggie Coffer, the two umpires. Stolen. Reed comes away with it and gets it back to Marcus White. Luna couldn't hold it. It's Brett Larrick. A routinier way outside and swishes the three.
Ron, you can't dare him to shoot the basketball. He's shooting 38% from beyond the arc on the year. You got to get out, crowd him, and make him beat you by putting it on the floor.
Well, many people who observe his team say they think he could be the best player on this club with just a little more sacrifice and effort. He played 39 minutes in yesterday's ball game. They depend on him heavily. In and out. That shot won't go for Walter Graham, and the putback counted.
Now there's the offensive board you're looking for right there out of Peter Aluma. Snatch that thing and convert.
Charleston Southern with a 1-point lead as we're about to go under 12 minutes. Inside, nice look to a routinier, and count 2 more for him. He's got 7 points in the early going.
You know, Ron, routinier is really a versatile offensive guy because he can stick the 3 and he's got the size to score inside. A tough matchup defensively for Liberty.
Reed not there. Caldwell came in and tipped it back to Marcus White, and then Marcus stepped on the inline.
Watch Peter Luma when the shot goes. Now he gets himself in rebounding position. Look at him get inside position, jumps up, snatches that thing, and then strong with 2 hands through contact, boom, gets it to drop. And that's the kind of things right now that have those NBA scouts coming into Lynchburg.
And at 260 pounds, he can go up with a 30. As White looks as though that muscle is loosening up, and he causes a travel on number 12, Adam Larry.
Yeah, you're right. Marcus White, that leg is, if it's not full speed, it's close. And that guy's got jets.
We remarked last night before he got injured. So much quickness, great defense. He shoots, he penetrates. He's the whole package. Said he was recruited by the University of Texas. They wanted him to go to a junior college. And he said, I didn't want to do that, and this place was a good home for me. Marcus White, not there. Roper with the rebound. Almost stolen by Graham, and he gets it, and then stolen back by Adam Larry. Timeout. 11:35 left in the first half. Charleston Southern, the number 4 seed, leading by 3. 11-8 Charleston Southern leading.
Ron, one of the concerns that Jeff Meyer had coming to this ball game for Liberty was, can we compete with Charleston Southern on the boards? Watch Alum when the shot goes, doesn't make an effort, and the blue jerseys are there to clean it up. Now Liberty's a team that's really rebounded the ball well coming into this tournament. Look at that for the tournament, plus 13 on the boards today. They've already down 7 on the glass. That has to get turned around.
13-6, the difference in rebounding in the early going here. Hanging, can't get the shot to go, and Brett Larrick starting off a little bit cold today. Well, he was not cold last night. Jackson misses on the floor. Marcus White causes another turnover, and then he throws it away to Adam Larry.
We're talking about Brett Larrick off to a slow start. Ron, he played 40 minutes last night, had 21 hard-earned points. May have something to do with it.
Amaja, number 40, Andre, a freshman out of Freeport, New York, into the lineup, and he gets his first 2.
You talk about a quick turnaround. Both these clubs played at 6 and 8 o'clock last night. A noon tip-off. You play a lot of minutes the night before, it can affect you.
Well, you could see Aluma just kind of stopped and looked at the official, and Reggie Coffer said, nope, no foul, play on. Routinier not there, but nice work on the boards by Amaja. Minutes left in this opening half. 13-5, 5-point margin for Charleston Southern until that one right there by Mark Reed. We mentioned off the top of the telecast, you allow him to spot up particularly, and he'll knock that 3 down all night. He did twice last evening.
Boy, it's so important again for that outside shot to fall for Liberty right now. Free up some more inside looks for Mr. Aluma.
Larrick for 3. Yep, off the top of the glass, and it finally came down. Sorensen will come back into the lineup. Graham goes to the bench. Sorensen, 6'6", 220, a junior out of Staten Island, New York. Eric, a banger, very tough rebounder, doesn't mind mixing it up inside.
Look at those perimeter players staying around that three-point line, trying to spread that defense out and give Double Zero some room to operate on the block.
And Amaja called for the violation.
Look at Aluma. We talk about a guy with a big target hand. Spreads out well at 6'11", takes up a lot of space. Pretty active working for that basketball right now.
First foul of Amaja, second team foul. 13-11, 2-point margin for Charleston Southern. That time he came out and respected Reed, and he drives and puts it in with the left hand. Great versatility on the part of Mark Reed.
Yeah, former Mr. Basketball from the state of Maine.
He is the heart and soul of this Liberty basketball team. No doubt about it.
Well, he's a coach's son, and all coaches' son I've seen at this level, they understand one thing. You play hard every game. It's been instilled in him since they were youngsters sitting around the dinner table.
Well, he is the emotional leader. You see an air ball from Jeff Daniels. Well, they leave him alone. 4-3, not there. Marlon Parker with the rebound. Marlon, a freshman out of Waterbury, Connecticut. Made the all-rookie team in the Big South this year. Good offensive player as well. Coaches say he's the type of guy that could come in and light it up for 6 or 8 quick ones.
Yeah, he averaged 27 points a game at JF Kennedy High School as a senior, so he's capable.
Tied at 13, and I'd have to say that as far as Liberty is concerned, this pace is far more to their liking, Jimmy.
Well, it is. Number one, because they played late last night, they may be a little bit tired, but I tell you what, they've got to start doing a much better job on that rebounding situation. Southern's doing some damage on the boards.
Shot not there, and Aluma certainly with his most aggressive rebound of the afternoon. Larry Jackson. It's hard up the front iron. Aluma with the follow. Can't get it. Gets another chance, and he'll go to the line for a couple. Could have been any one of 3. I think Marlon Parker is the man that they called.
No, Jeff Meyer told us before the ball game, Ron, he said it's not on the outside that you see from Peter Aluma that's impressive. It's what's on the inside. He was talking about the guy plays with, look at that. Tremendous effort, great heart, just a solid kid. And that's a guy on a mission right now to get this team in that NCAA tournament.
66% free throw shooter. You see what he averages? Over 6 rebounds and over 3 blocks per game. That foul, by the way, was on Jeff Daniels, his second. It is the 3rd team foul. This is the first lead for Liberty at 14-13. They fell behind 6-0. Didn't score their first 2 until the 4:25 mark of the first half.
Liberty was beaten in the conference finals last year, and that should be all the fuel they've needed all season long.
So there's a break in the action. 14-13. Liberty will be right back.
It all comes down to this. First, Missouri Valley Conference rivals are peaking just in time for a semifinal run. Then, postseason passion heats up in the Sun Belt Conference semis, where upset is the name of the game. Missouri Valley Conference semifinals at 5, Sun Belt Conference semifinals at 7 tomorrow, only on ESPN2.
The Vine Center, Lynchburg, Virginia, 15-13. Liberty leads, and Jimmy, look at the shooting. Whoa, 24 and 25%. And you look at guys like Larrick 0 for 4 and Daniels 0 for 5. When 2 of your leaders on your club are 0 for 9, that's tough to go. Marcus White, what a story. Started off slow, took himself out after 2 minutes, and he is beginning to heat up. It is extremely important that they keep him in the ball game.
Yeah, for defensive purposes and running that ball club. But you go back to Charleston Southern, I think they got to feel fortunate they're only down 2 with a poor shooting start out of Larrick and Daniels. And this guy with the basketball right now, he's got to get on track for the Buccaneers.
A routineer. He was fouled. It's going to be against Larry Jackson, junior out of Carrollton, Texas.
You talked about Larrick not shooting a basketball. Look, the guy up top, 21, Caldwell, is checking Larrick, and when that driver goes, they don't help off. They don't help off at all on Larrick right now, and they are really limiting the number of times he even catches the basketball.
And after a time, Jimmy, and you know this from playing and from coaching, the kid gets frustrated. You just, all of a sudden, you start forcing. This young man right here who's at the line, fouled by Larry Jackson. Jackson is a player that has worked extremely hard on improving his defense, and although he picked up the foul just now, he has done a much better job. Jackson along the baseline. He gets hacked from behind. A routinier with a foul. 4th team foul, the first on him.
Ron, we saw another look there of Larrick. He's the guy, I mean, he shoots twice as many shots as any other guy on that Charleston Southern team. Leading scorer in the Big South. I mean, he's got the size, the quickness, the jumping ability. He lit South Carolina up for 30 points this year, I'll tell you that.
And as you said, they knocked off South Carolina. Charleston Southern has not scored in now 6 minutes. 17-13. They're down by 4. You saw those shooting percentages just a moment ago that both clubs are off. Bouncer inside. Amaja. 4 points for him now. So Amaja comes off the bench. He's 2 of 2. Quickly get the ball inside. Count the hoop. Adam Hopkins, the sophomore out of Lithia Springs, Georgia. 6'10", 240.
All the time you hear guys talk about in a scouting report, this guy's a banger. Well, look at Hopkins right here. That's what he thrives on. He wants to get his body on you in position and push and shove and get his shot off. That's the book on that guy right there. You ask everyone in this league, tell me about Hopkins. He's a banger. Watch him operate.
Too hard. Rebounded by Brett Larry. Graham back in the lineup, number 34 for Liberty.
Ron, I almost think at times Charleston Southern is happy with the flow of the game right now, keeping it low scoring, try to keep the crowd out of it. Liberty, I think, would almost like to get it more going up and down and get the thing going.
Brett Larry misses again. He's now 0 of 5. Graham at the other end pulls up from 15 feet and rattles it down. And I'll tell you something, in watching him, this young man could start for a lot of people in this league as Georgia Southern wants a 20-second timeout.
See, that's the push that I'm talking about that I think Liberty wants right now. Get that rebound up the sideline and go.
While 56 more games of championship week are left following this one, the Ohio Valley Championship, Murray State against Austin Peay. And then at 4 o'clock, we'll join in progress the Transamerica Athletic Championship, Florida International against number 20 College of Charleston. And then at 7:30 to the Big 12 and Gallagher-Iba Arena on the campus of Oklahoma State University. It's Eddie Sutton's Cowboys against Iowa State University of Tim Floyd.
Gallagher-Iba, my old stomping ground. There's the push right there, the attack on the offensive end for Liberty up that sidelines. And Graham jumps up and knocks it down, and that's, I think, what they need more of the last 5.5 minutes of this first half.
This run right now is 13-2 by Liberty over the last 4 minutes and 2 seconds. Gabe Caldwell comes back in the lineup for Liberty, number 21.
Boy, Caldwell is all over Brett Larrick at the top of your screen. Just not letting him get involved in the offense at all.
Graham with the rebound. Looks like Winston Gordon. Nope, they called it on Andre Amaja, his second foul. Now that's 16 fouls on Charleston Southern. And Graham has just picked up a foul for Liberty. First on him.
Ron, I really think Charleston Southern, to get Larry involved in the offense, they got to start running him off some screens. Because right now he's just standing when he gives that basketball up, not getting a lot of help from his teammates to receive the pass back. He's just kind of left on his own.
Yeah, Liberty doesn't care if he stands out there on his lonesome all day.
You're right.
Marcus White gives it up to Reed. Scores it with the left hand.
You know, every college program needs a guy like Reed. Doesn't do anything great, but he comes and laces them up every day. I love it.
As we mentioned, he is the emotional leader of this basketball team. There's the first one at the 4:33 mark left in the first half for Brett Larry.
Saw what he did. He got in position, have a smaller defender on him, just backed him in and jumped up and shot it over the top.
Larrick averaging 19.8 points a game. See if that one will loose him up. He is 1 of 6. Marcus White for 3. Barely drew iron on that one. Nice job by Marlon Parker. Now 2 trips in a row. Charleston Southern has scored. It's back to a 4-point game.
Well, for Jeff Murray, you got to be concerned where the help side defense was. Lack of rotating over, taking away that baseline drive. Watch Parker right here. He just lays the ball down with his left hand, and Hopkins gets caught on the post. He's playing behind, therefore he can't step over and cut off the baseline. The weak side doesn't rotate over, and Parker takes it all the way to the rim and finishes.
Well, speaking of racing along the baseline, tomorrow the NASCAR circuit is right down the road at the Richmond International Raceway for the Pontiac Excitement 400. Defending champion Jeff Gordon has won the first 2 races of the year. Can he make it free? The green flag drops tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time, if it'll ever stop raining in this part of Virginia.
Hey, my man Jeff Gordon, he's hotter than the river dance. Woo.
I'm telling you.
You see that the other night, the river dance?
Yeah.
You talk about some quick feet on people.
1 of 6, 2 points for Brett Larrick today. And as we mentioned, almost 20 points a game is his average. Ron Franklin, Jimmy Dykes coming to you from the Vine Center at the campus of Liberty University. Championship of the Big South, and a foul on Larrick. That's going to be on Brett.
Watch where Luma establishes himself offensively. He starts off on the block, therefore when the pass goes, when he catches it, he's almost behind the glass. Watch him right now. The clear, look at that right there. He comes down behind the glass. You can make that over the top pass. You got to have a better touch on it and let the receiver catch it where he can explode up at the rim. Put him in a tough spot.
Well, this is what he's done today. 4 points, 7 rebounds. 1 of 6 in field goal attempts, and now 2 of 3 at the free throw line. Caldwell in, Jackson goes out.
Now, there's been some concern about his conditioning factor, talking about Peter Luma. Gotten in better shape as his career has progressed here.
Well, as you mentioned, all of these Liberty kids could be a little bit fatigued because they played until late last night. Larrick, an air ball. And the outlet pass, there's Graham at the other end and scored the easy 2. That's why Marcus White is so just invaluable to this basketball team. He does everything for the Flames.
Defensive mistake made by Charleston Southern, the point guard. Adam Larrick, when that shot goes, boom, he's got to be on a sprint to the other end. They got caught on a snowbird.
Reed on Larrick in that corner. Aluma grabs down the errant shot by Arutnir. 2.5 minutes left in this opening half. White off the mark with his shot. And it's going to be on Reed. They'll call a hand check. First foul on him, 15 foul. We'll go away for a moment. 25-19 Liberty.
With a win today at Rutgers, Villanova locks down the top seed in the AT&T Big East Championships, to be seen on ESPN. Howard Brown hits a 3. The Cats have hit 6. They lead by 6. All the scores and highlights at halftime, Ron.
Yeah.
See? 25-19 our score with the clock showing 2:22 left in this opening half. Field goal percentages, 35% as you take a look at Dr. Jerry Falwell, who is chancellor of this university. I doubt that he'll do it 2 days in a row, but last night at halftime of the first semifinal game, they body surfed him from the bottom of this arena to the top. I was amazed, and he loved it, and the kids loved it as well.
Last year they did it. They got him about halfway up and dropped him. I tell you what else, yesterday afternoon I drove over to watch an afternoon girls game, and the only spot I pulled into that was available, I pulled in, it said reserved for Reverend Falwell. I thought, this is not the spot to park in on this campus. So I backed out and went down the street.
Rolando Arutnir. Arutnir now in double figures. He's got 10. He and Reed both in double figures, leading their clubs.
Liberty's tightened things up on the rebounding margin, 22-20. I mean, they were down 7 or 8 early, and that guy right there has been a big part of it, Peter Aluma.
Mike Sales picks up the foul, number 42, his first and the team's 8th.
And a guy with that kind of size and that kind of athletic ability inside, he always has the defense in a gambling type situation, much like Tim Duncan does at Wake Forest.
Still
shoot right, you can't just play him straight up.
4 points and 8 rebounds for Aluma so far, and we are under 2 minutes in this opening half. Younger brother Larrick off the mark. Threw it away. You know, Charleston Southern wanted a foul, and that was almost an over and back. That foul will go against the Flames. It's going to be Sorensen.
Watch Adam Lurk. I mean, if you're a point guard, you're taught to penetrate with that basketball till the defense rotates over and stops you, and Adam does. Gets the block call against Sorensen. So important for Adam Lurk to have a good game today. Again, with Errol McPherson on the bench with a knee injury.
Larrick off the mark, but the long turn to Routinier. Brett is now 1 of 8.
Still not getting a lot of help from his teammates as far as operating off screens. I mean, I think with a shooter like that, you got to get him 2 or 3 screens in a possession, try to free him up.
Shot clock is now inside of 10. All the way to the hoop. Shot is blocked, and a foul called, and they want goaltending, but none will be given. Well, a halftime coming up. Mike Tirico standing by. BC on the bubble. Number 17, Louisville against Tulane, an Ohio Valley Championship preview. This championship week is underway with this game here in Lynchburg, Virginia. So I'll be heading to the Missouri Valley tomorrow. You'll be heading to Little Rock for the Sun Belt.
Talk about a great week in college basketball. Now Tulane, out of that Conference USA. I think Cincinnati, Louisville, and now North Carolina, Charlotte have probably locked up bids. Tulane, they need to win a couple more ball games.
This man right here has been once to the dance, 1994, and Jeff Meyer would dearly love to take this group as well.
Yeah, they led North Carolina in that first round game by 1 point with 9 minutes to go. Ended up losing by 20, but most talented team he's had here on the floor this afternoon.
Adam Larrick scoring there. He's got 3.
A 1-4 flat is what this is called. You see the point guard out top of the basketball, the other 4 guys lined up across that baseline. That's called 1-4 flat. and allows the point guard to penetrate without the help defense rotating over.
Inside, Graham fouled with 4 seconds on the clock. Graham very wise to take it up. He knew the clock was running down.
And Ryan, I tell you what else 1-4 flat does for you. It allows a good opportunity for an offensive rebound, because when the help does come, you got guys sneaking along that baseline. A lot of teams use that scoring play, and there's a reason for it. It works.
Marcus White heads to the bench. What a valiant effort by him today. The youngster playing with a badly bruised groin that he pulled last night in the semifinal game. Took himself out after 2 minutes and then came back in, and he's gone the rest of the way as Graham goes to the free throw line. When you look at those numbers on Graham, you say, hey, he would start for a lot of people, wouldn't he, Jimmy?
Yeah, look at him, 6'6", and athleticism to do some things off the dribble. Real key today. He didn't have a lot of minutes last night. He should have fresh legs this afternoon.
He's got 6 right now. He had turned an ankle on the 17th, came back on Wednesday night, and in that ball game lit it up for 15 points off the bench. So he is extremely valuable to this club. Clock at 1 will not go. It is halftime. And the home-standing number 2 seed, Flames of Liberty, leading by 5. Will they win the Big South? We'll have that verdict in about 20 more minutes. Mike Tirico.
Okay, Ron, last year on this very same floor, Liberty lost the championship game to North Carolina Greensboro. You're probably watching a 14-15 seed here, so if your team is ranked in the top 12 nationally, this could be the opponent that you see when the bids come out on Selection Sunday in 8 days. Welcome to Championship Week and our halftime report. Coming up at halftime, the action from the other conference championship games or championship tournaments and the teams that are on the bubble. How are they doing on this Saturday? Scores and highlights coming up.
ESPN's presentation of Championship Week is brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz C-Class.
Liberty leads by 5. It's the Big South Championship, the third bid to the big dance. Welcome back to Championship Week and our halftime report. Regular season play wrapping up in the major conferences, including the Big East, where Boston College, with a win at home today over Notre Dame, can lock down the 3 seed, which means you don't have to play in the first round of the Big East tournament. Taking on an improving Notre Dame team, Dwayne Woodward off the Danye Abrams miss. I'll tell you, when Woodward is on, BC is on. He knocks down the 3. BC jumps out to a 12-2 early lead. Notre Dame hanging in. Admore White can't hit, but Marcus Young does. Irish down 6. Later first half, it's Woodward one more time, knocking down a triple. And in the Conti Forum at the break, it is Boston College leading by 7. Notre Dame trying to close out its conference season at 500. Why is this game so important for BC? Consider the Eagles at 17-8 overall, 57 in the RPI. So yes, they could finish tied with Villanova for the regular season Big East 7 conference championship. But this slow finish, 4-5 in their last 9, could put BC on the bubble. Speaking of Villanova, the number 1 seed in the Big East, if they win today at Rutgers, Jason Lawson, 4 blocks in the first half. Rob Hodgins, Sam Sanders inside. The Scarlet Knights, despite all the blocks, still have been able to find some points in the interior. But Villanova's been sharp outside the arc. Alvin Williams, one of 6 threes in the first half for Villanova. They're pushing halftime in Piscataway. An 8-point Villanova lead at the rack. If Villanova wins, they will be the top seed and, like Boston College, gain a bye. Speaking of Philadelphia basketball, St. Joe's in this tremendous stretch here, 9-1 in their last 10, 15th in the RPI, looking to lock down a top seed, but trailing LaSalle in this Battle of Philadelphia by 1. 2 Conference USA, Jimmy was talking about Tulane taking on Louisville. Lawrence Nelson off the nice feed from Richard Allen, but Louisville's Dewan Wheat, nice move, good head fake. He hits the 3. Down at Fogelman, Perry Clark's team has been close with Louisville, and this game is tied at 29. Very important for a streaky Tulane team that won 11 in a row, lost 4 in a row, and now has won 3 straight, trying to make a late push toward conference tournament time. In a game of no postseason significance, Penn State has an early lead on Ohio State at the Bryce Jordan Center. While conference tournaments are underway in some of the mid-major conferences, we'll show you the scores and highlights and how the brackets are breaking down as our Championship Week halftime report continues. Liberty leads by 5 in the Big South. That is the third of the 30 automatic bids into the field of 64. Number 4 comes up right after this game, the Ohio Valley Championship game. Murray State and Austin Peay. For a preview of that game, here's Dwayne's stats.
Mike, we have a rematch of last year at the Ohio Valley Conference Championship game when a trip to the free throw line by Reggie Crenshaw gave Austin Peay a 70-68 win and the conference tournament title.
It was a difficult loss for Murray State on a controversial call, but I don't think they can afford to use that loss as motivation. They need to go after this year's championship. And Reggie Crenshaw made a great point that Austin Peay is not defending what they did last year. They're trying to win another one in '97.
Austin Peay's season has been revitalized by the return of Bubba Wells, who after missing the first 12 games of the year has averaged better than 31 points a game the rest of the way.
Well, Austin Peay really struggled without their star Bubba Wells in their first 12 games. They went 4-8, but since he's come back, they have just been on fire. He is dynamite, over 30 points a game, as you mentioned. He is able to put the ball on the floor. He can shoot with either hand, and he opens up things for Joe Sibbett and Reggie Crenshaw. But what's going to be important in this game is who can execute consistently in the half court. That's how you win championships in March.
A great rematch of the OVC. It will be Murray State and Austin Peay. Now let's go back to the studio.
Dwayne, thanks. Ask a Georgia Tech fan from '96, Kentucky fan from '94. The team out of the Ohio Valley gives you a tough game in the tournament, 10, 11-point games, so this could be a good matchup coming up next. Other conference tournaments that are other way, the Metro Atlantic, Iona, a second straight 20-win season, a second straight top seed. They're in the light uniforms taking on Fairfield. Brian Matthew with a nice finish in the early going for the Gales of Timmy Wells. Now Fairfield comes back. John Tice, the drive, and the jumper. Fairfield's playing a great game here this afternoon in Buffalo. Shannon Bowman, the turnaround, and the top seed Iona is in some trouble. Right now down 12 to the 8th seed Fairfield, an 8-18 team. This would be a devastating loss. In the America East at the Bob Carpenter Center, it is Delaware and Hofstra, the 4 and 5 seed. Hofstra with a 5-point lead in their quarterfinal matchup. In the Colonial, where ODU is the top seed, William and Mary, the 5 seed, leading VCU, the 4, by 4. That was a bigger margin earlier. Underway in the Midwestern Collegiate Conference, at the Nutter Center, the 4 seed Wisconsin Green Bay, typical low-scoring game, but they lead the 5 seed Loyola by 7. Our lineup continues on ESPN after the OVC. It's the TAC championship game. You'll see the College of Charleston. If Charleston Southern could rally, what a big day it could be for the city of Charleston in college basketball. Well, bowling at 5:30. Follow that up with SportsCenter. Then Kelvin Cato out. Didn't even make the trip for Iowa State's game against Oklahoma State. And a big one in the WAC. New Mexico taking on Utah. All wrapped up on SportsCenter. We'll continue at halftime in just a moment. The top 11 teams in the Big East could be separated by 4 games. It's been a competitive season, which means we could have an unbelievably competitive AT&T Big East Championship. Tip-to-trophy coverage of the great event from the great building, Madison Square Garden in New York, starts Wednesday. You'll see every game, whether it's on the Deuce or ESPN. This is a big weekend for Coaches Against Cancer. Coaches versus Cancer. Basketball coaches banding together to support the cause and the desire to try to end this terrible disease. The tie that I'm wearing, and you'll see many college coaches wearing ties today, are supporting Coaches Against Cancer and those efforts, and those ties are available to the public. You can support the favorite coach of yours and their program to help fighting cancer by calling 1-800-345-TEAM, and these ties are on sale to the public starting today. The second half of the third automatic bid to the field of 64 in the Big South is coming up with Liberty at home, +5.
ESPN's presentation of Championship Week is brought to you by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth, and by Isuzu, equipment for real life.
We are at halftime, 28-23 the score in this Big South Championship with the Liberty Flames leading in this one. And Jimmy, it took the Flames 4 minutes and 23 seconds to score to start this game, and they hit 2 back-to-back threes. Brett Larrick is the one that is surprising me, and they're going to have him because 1 of 8 in the first half. Charleston said it's been tough on them.
He's not involved with 2s or 3s either one right now. Look at him. He's really struggling to get shots to drop when he does get involved. And then he's just, watch him just running around. Not a lot of help from his teammates. Not a lot of guys setting him up, working him off of screens. And this is a guy that he has got to get involved. He's a conference leading scorer. Look at him right here. Finally just has to create his own look and comes up short. And you would think the Buccaneers would have something involved with him the first possession of this second half to get him going offensively.
33% to 28%. You see the free throws. Rebounding, Charleston Southern continues to lead there, but in fast break points, 9-0 is how it stands there. There's a good look at Brett. 1 of 8 in the first half. Had 1 assist, and that was about it, as he was shadowed every place he went.
Well, I'm telling you, if you're Liberty, you better not forget about number 3 in the blue jersey, because, again, he is capable of big numbers in a hurry.
2 ties in that first half. The biggest leads, Charleston Southern led by 5, and Liberty led by 8. But the big run was a 15-4 run. Over 5:07 in the first half. Marcus White. Boy, I can't begin to tell you how big his presence has been in this game. Started off, went to the bench, wound up playing 17 minutes in the first half, and has overcome a groin pull. Liberty needs him desperately. Now it's either Jackson or Peter Aluma who picks up the foul, and it's going to be Aluma. And here's the guy, talk about missing people. Here's McPherson, conversely, for Charleston Southern. 17 points a game. You see the assist, 41% from their best three-point shooter. And it happened 2 weeks ago, tore up his knee.
You know, and right after that, the next 2 or 3 ball games, they moved Brett Larrick to the point position and found out that that was not his strength. It's because it was taking away his scoring ability. So they inserted little brother Adam.
And, you know, when you check the numbers, Jimmy, also to show you how dependent Charleston Southern has been on Brett Larrick, in the 5 games since McPherson got injured, he's averaged 25 points an outing. Aluma takes it up strong, count it, and a foul against Mac Roper.
Ron, really a good quick move by Aluma. I mean, he catches it, watching. Boom, doesn't hesitate, drop step, takes it up with 2 hands in case contact does alter the shot. 7 points. What stands out for this guy right now is the 9 rebounds, because that's what people have talked about, his inability to control that glass.
Well, he misses on that free throw. 7 points, 9 rebounds for Aluma. They go right back to him, but the big fella turns around, can't get it to go. And inside, Marcus White wrestled down to the floor, and it's going to stay with Liberty. That is great hustle by Eric Sorensen.
Well, look at Liberty. You talk about a team right now that understands the importance of getting involved on the glass. Sorensen, those are the kind of plays he makes right there. I mean, just lots of effort type stuff out of Eric Sorensen.
Now, the bad news right now is number 3. Marcus White is back down on the floor, and you saw he got shoved to the floor, going for that rebound. Last night, right in front of the scorer's table, went after a ball and just literally did the splits, and that's when he injured the groin. And we had commented in the first half, Jimmy, it looked as though that he had warmed it up properly and was moving as close to full speed as you can with that injury. But right now, this doesn't look very good.
Well, hopefully for Marcus White that it isn't more of an injury, just aggravated the one already there, and get him over there, stretch him out, and see if he can go again.
Sorensen, the left-handed jumper off the mark, stolen by Jackson. And the ball is going to stay with Charleston Southern. In case you joined us late, Liberty, the number 2 seed, won their game last night to advance. Charleston Southern knocked off the number 1 seed from Asheville to advance to this championship. Liberty went to the tournament, the big dance, in 1994. Charleston Southern has never been there, so that's what they're playing for this afternoon, as Aluma comes up with the loose basketball for the Flames. 32-25, 7-point game as we hit the 18-minute mark left in this championship.
Charleston Southern back in that man defense. It's not an overplay and pressure, take away passing lanes type defense. Pretty much a premium placed on containment of the basketball.
That pass may have been forced a little bit, trying to get it inside to Aluma. This is Adam Larry, the younger brother of Brett. He's a sophomore. Elyria, Ohio, their home. They played together in high school as the jumper for Orlando, a Routinier, goes down. And a Routinier now with a dozen.
Ron, big basket by Routinier, but again, we got to note that Larry has got to get involved on the offensive end. Again, in that possession, he was simply standing in the corner offensively.
Ball knocked back out to Reed. He will dribble to the 15-foot mark. Misses the jumper. That's Roper. And taken away inside by Jackson. And the shot clock has gone out. We have a malfunctioning shot clock down to our right. As you look at Tom Conrad.
Talk about a guy that paid his dues, 17 years as an assistant on the college level. Old Dominion, UNC Asheville, Charleston Southern, Kentucky Wesleyan, St. Michael's, and all schools he's been involved in have won a conference championship. Tremendously hard worker. So the best advice he ever had from his dad was hang in there. Your hard work will pay off, and it has.
Well, speaking of those teams and conferences, championship week continues tomorrow with the Southern Conference Championship. The Davidson, Tennessee Chattanooga winner taking on the Appalachian State Marshall winner. Tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern, right here on ESPN. Ron Franklin and Jimmy Dykes coming to you from Lynchburg, Virginia. Glad to have you with us as we kick off championship week here. And as Jim mentioned earlier in the first half, this is an extremely exciting time if you enjoy college basketball, because you come to these tournaments and it's so much fun to see the tradition and the enthusiasm from the youngsters. Like Liberty, I've always wanted to come here, first trip. And this is a great campus with great fans. As Illuma knocks down the jumper. 7-point lead for Liberty. 9 now for Illuma. Looking inside of a Routinier. He is covered up nicely as Caldwell is shadowing him. Takes it to the hoop, too strong in the shot. The follow won't go, and that's Roper who comes back out on top. Tipped in by Roper. And a 20-second timeout is called by Charleston Southern. Did they get it? Yes.
Finally, Brett Larrick gets involved on the offensive end, but it's off of the dribble. He just caught it and then went to work on his own. And you see Illuma rotate over, but then the weak side defense doesn't rotate down and allows Charleston Southern to sneak in on that weak side. Look at Larrick. I mean, when he penetrates, the defense comes to him. Illuma challenges the shot. Number 50 sneaks in from that weak side. Mr. Roper gets it done on the glass.
Well, that shows that those officials right there close by and can see it better than anybody else. Some of the fans thought that that might have been basket interference, that it was over the cylinder. But as you could see in the replay, that was not the case. Good call, or good no call, I guess I should say. Reed, he stepped on the center line. That's an over and back. Didn't realize he was going parallel and was being double teamed.
You know what I like about Tom Conrad now and there, and there's a great adjustment. White goes out of the ball game. It forces Reed to the point, and while they do, they go double him up and get a turnover. Nice coaching move out of the Buccaneer staff.
Marcus Reed back on the bench. They have retaped that groin. First time we have seen Jeff Daniels in a while. He left in the first half and didn't return. Been partially blocked, I think it was, by Illuma.
They're really sagging off those perimeter players, taking away that entry look to Illuma.
Jackson for three. As I mentioned, he's worked really hard on his defense, but he is the best three-point shooter on this Liberty club.
Well, as a result, you can't sag off of that guy. You got to get up, crowd him, make him beat you off of the dribble.
He's got 8. Knocked out of bounds, touched last by Charleston Southern. And let's take a break. 15-12 left in our ball game, 37-29.
In the Big East, Boston College getting pushed by Notre Dame. Fighting Irish got the lead down to a couple, but BC comes back. Dwayne Woodward in transition. Costas Maglos, a big guy who's come on for the Eagles. Their lead is 4 at home. Ron.
Okay, Michael, 37-29 our score. Liberty winning this championship game. Here's McPherson on the bench trying to get his team pumped up. And let's take a look at Marcus White during the timeout. Two guys essential to their ball clubs. McPherson obviously will not play, and you can see the grimace on Marcus White's face as they retape that the groin pull that he has. Marcus continuing to sit on the bench. He has not re-entered the game. Caldwell is in, 21. Also a youngster from Austin, Texas. The bouncer to Aluma. Too hard on the shot. You know, I think this is where a guy like Graham could and probably is going to have to step up big in White's absence.
Yeah, he will, because I mean, they need another scoring threat on the floor.
And right then, he saves the basketball for Liberty. Outlet to Caldwell, and then Jackson said, nope, I'm not going to penetrate. We'll reset it. Three in the corner, Jackson. 8 points for him. I was premature a moment ago. I said 80 at 5, and now it is 8.
This is why Liberty is so tough to defend last half of the season, because of Aluma's ability to pass the basketball out of a double-team situation. Boom. Jackson knocks down a big one.
He is perfect. 2 of 2 from outside the arc, Jimmy.
Well, early in the year when that ball went inside to Aluma right there with his back to us, it didn't come back out. Team started surrounding him defensively, and he's learned to pass the basketball out, keep the offense going.
What Tulane,
yeah,
a must-win situation for Perry Clark and his guys. Leading in that one. St. Joe's, boy, they have played some good basketball this year. They spanked UMass the other night, which was a gigantic win for them at the A-10.
They are definitely in, and it's going to be interesting to watch what UMass does here in the next week.
6-0 run by Liberty right now, and Graham again, the young man we were just talking about, as the ball is taken away from him, and the possession arrow says that it will stay with Liberty.
I tell you what, if you don't play with some emotion in this ball game, you don't need to be in the gymnasium.
But here you see Graham, and then it's Larrick who comes in, and Graham goes down on top of him, and then younger brother comes in to help out Larrick, and it took a while to get the scrum untied.
One thing to pick on your teammates, another thing to pick on your younger brother.
That's right. Well, he is off the mark again. It has been a tough afternoon for Brett Larrick.
Wrong, but he's got to keep shooting the basketball.
That's right. You know, and in fact, as we talked at halftime, you know, I think I would look for Tom Conrad and to specifically run a play, the best play you got to get him open, to get some confidence, because 1 of 10 now, and here's a guy that in the last 5 games has averaged 25 an outing. But you know and I know you're going to have those kind of days. You just I don't care how great you are.
You just don't want to have him in the championship game of the conference tournament,
that's
unfortunately.
Right. Routinier trying to work his way in. And Caldwell is going to be called for banging on him.
Really a critical stage right now for Tom Conrad. I mean, they're down 11, about 14 minutes to go, and if this thing gets extended to 15 or 16 and this building starts jumping, could be some major problems.
22nd timeout has been called. Well, tomorrow on the Deuce, a championship week doubleheader. First of all, at 5 o'clock, a semifinal game in the Missouri Valley Conference. That's at 5 Eastern Time. Then at 7 o'clock. In fact, that's where I'll be, along with John Sunbolt, and you'll be heading at 7 o'clock to the Sun Bowl Conference semifinal. Quarterfinals are today and tonight. That's tomorrow on the Deuce. Who are you going to be working with
Dwayne
there, Jimmy?
Stats and I will be in Little Rock. I tell you what, the Sun Belt has a team in New Orleans that if they don't win that conference tournament, they may edge their way in. They've got 21, 22 wins, and Tick Price has a very good ball club.
The inbounds pass, they do it nicely and score with Winston Gordon. And Gordon injured a knee or an ankle when he came down after the shot.
Well, he fell awfully hard. Wasn't able to catch himself at all.
He's the team's best rebounder per minutes played.
McPherson trying to be an emotional leader. Let's take a look at what happened. Oh, he ran
Boom.
into.
See, look at that.
Came down on that left hip very, very hard. About to go under 13 minutes to play. A 9-point lead for Liberty. Jackson penetrates, blocked by Roper. Outlet pass. Larrick will take it the distance, and he misses it. And followed by a little brother, Adam, and he'll score.
Great hustle play by Adam Larrick. I mean, doesn't take for granted that the ball's going to drop. Positions himself in front of the rim and converts.
Reed with the bouncer inside to Aluma. You see the triple team on him, and Graham wisely takes it to the hoop, and Aluma is fouled as he takes it back up.
Somebody made Peter Aluma mad talking about how he doesn't rebound the basketball. Look at him go up in traffic with 2 hands. Those the kind of plays right there, with his footwork, with his dedication to the game, with his movement inside. He can stick in that NBA for a few years if he plays like that on the glass.
Well, the big cheer that you just heard, Marcus White coming back on the floor and is going to try out that groin and see if it is in fact okay. And also good to see Winston Gordon back out on the floor after that really hard fall on his hip at the other end. Well, Luma has been off at the free throw line.
Ron Liberty loses Peter Aluma, but I'll tell you what, they signed a kid, Jeremy Day, a 6'8" kid out of Kansas City, one of the top 85 players in the country, and Nick Wright, a 6'4" guard out of the Austin area, one of the top 20 players in Texas.
Aluma now 4 of 9, Jimmy at the free throw line, and he is in double figures at 10. Reed also at 10. 14 points for Arutnir. He leads all scorers for Charleston Southern. 13 minutes left. 41-33. Liberty. Mentioned the fact that Aluma's in double figures. He has a double-double. He also has 11 rebounds. And at the other end, nice job. Jeff Daniels scores.
Good ball movement. Arutnir passed up a marginal shot, and then Gordon passed up another marginal shot. Worked it inside.
You get the feeling it could be spurt time as far as Charleston Southern is concerned, and Liberty better brace for that. Adam Hopkins back in the lineup, number 25. It'll stay with Liberty. 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Here's that last ball move. Look at it from the baseline up top. Gordon with a ball fake. Now he has a marginal shot there, but then drops it off down low to Daniels. With a strength move inside.
4 seconds on the shot clock. And Aluma quickly in the ball game, and Hopkins goes to the bench, and Reed will pull the trigger. Aluma gonna have to hurry. Jackson for 3. Sorensen with a tip. No good. Jackson battling and saved by White of Liberty. Boy, that is some good hustle by Jackson and also by Marcus White.
Huge possession because Charleston Southern forced him into a tough shot and then didn't come up with a rebound.
Marcus White. Called for the foul. So there's a timeout. 11:47 left in our ball game. 41-35 Liberty.
In New Orleans, Tulane in desperate need of a victory, taking on Louisville, and this would be a great one for them. The Cardinals go 5 minutes without scoring a hoop in the second half, and Lawrence, Jody Nelson, a big second half. Green Wave by 8. Ron.
Wow. Well, big day for Liberty here, Mike. 41-35. The men are leading in the championship game, and look standing in the wings. The ladies team also playing for the championship in the Big South, so this could be a red-letter day, no pun intended, for the group here from Lynchburg, Virginia. And old young alike.
Guy right there's not too impressed.
Oh, man.
Women take on UNC Greensboro.
Strong move by Arutnir, taking it hard to the hoop. And he now has 16 points.
Someone needs to tell that little guy this is championship week. Naps are not allowed.
4-point game. Sorensen for three.
Liberty's in a situation offensively where they want to be patient and get high percentage looks, but they've got to stay on that attack mode. They can't start playing preventive right now.
Can't lose Mo. Sometimes it's impossible to retrieve. Marcus White trying to cause something to happen. Knocked it away, but it was saved by Brett Larry. Adam Larry. And that's Sorensen, who goes up over Aluma and actually hit his teammate in the eye when he came down with the rebound. Aluma. And he was fouled. And as soon as he gets off the body, we can tell you who it was. 32 Winston Gordon. Second one on him. And only the second team foul.
Ron, I'm telling you, Charleston Southern only down 4, and Brett Larrick still not getting things done on the offensive end. They have to feel pretty fortunate about where they sit with 10.5 to go.
Yeah, there's no question about that, particularly when you look at that 31% from the field shooting to still be in the game, Jimmy. Marcus White.
Second best three-point shooter on the club.
He's got 8 points. Way outside, a root near, and I'll tell you what, that was beyond the NBA. And Tom Conrad, his coach, looked at him like, you gotta be kidding where you shot that from. 19 points for him.
Most guys risk a hurry operation shooting it from that far out.
Aluma lost the ball out of bounds. Now look how far he is beyond the arc. Folks, that is 8 feet beyond the arc.
And that's pure. How do you guard? You talk about having to extend your defense to cover shots. That was a good example.
Any further out, he's got to buy a ticket. Larrick off the mark. It's Marcus White who comes away with the rebound. 4-point game, 44-40. And Graham, nice communication between White and Graham.
Ron, that's what Liberty has to maintain, is their aggressiveness on the offensive end. Be selective with their push, but they can't start playing from their heels with a 4-point lead and just under 10 to go.
Foul is on Daniels, his third. That's the 4th team foul. Well, when you look at Daniels and Larry, 1 of 12 and 1 of 8. The 2 leaders on this ball club, 2 of 20 for this ball game. But still, I remind you, this club is down by only 4 points. With 9:39 to play, so they know they can do it if they can get over the hump, and Liberty knows that full well.
You know, but this game kind of describes Charleston Southern to me, because they are a gutsy, tough team that doesn't have great talent, but they play hard, they play together, overachievers, and they overcome obstacles.
That follow shot by Che Lugo wouldn't go. So Liberty very unlucky on that exchange right there, and they lead by 4.
You see Brett Larrick at the top of your screen standing in the corner.
Brett Larrick got it. 4 points for him now. And at any time he could heat up. And all of a sudden, Charleston Southern knows that they could get in the driver's seat in a hurry. This crowd knows it because it's 2 points and they are up and cheering. Graham left alone, puts up a 3, hits hard off the front iron. A routinier with the rebound. 8:45 to play. Liberty by a pair.
Around Liberty, when they had that 11-point lead, they almost started playing like they were the visiting team instead of keeping the thing going and keeping the crowd into it. And now this is a possession game for the remainder.
Graham, great job on the boards, as a routinier couldn't get it to go down. Liberty has scored only 4 points and now just over 7 minutes of the second half. stepped on the inline, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, watch Larrick. Right here, he starts at the top of your screen, and the dribble penetration at least allows him to catch the basketball. And he has very good one-on-one ability. Again, at 6'4", a good leaper, good extension on his jump shot. Hard to guard.
8 turnovers now against Liberty. Only 4 against Charleston Southern. They have done an excellent job of taking care of the basketball in this championship game. And they can tie it up or take the lead of this trip. Good look inside. A Routinier scores, and we're tied at 44.
The old flex offense. That's what that was. You get a down screen and a baseline screen, reverse the ball, down screen, baseline screen, boom, layup.
21 points for a Routinier. Rolando, a senior out of Puerto Rico. White tries to penetrate, gets it off to Graham, loses it out of bounds. And right now, things are beginning to go Charleston Southern's way. Let's take a break. 7:21 left in our ball game. We're tied. We'll be right back.
Notre Dame keeps hanging close at Boston College, but Dwayne Woodward, every time it gets sticky, hits a big hoop. Here are 3. 6-point game on Chestnut Hill, Ron.
Mike, I'll tell you what's happened here in Lynchburg, Virginia. Charleston Southern, for the first time since early in this ball game, is now shooting a higher percentage in Liberty. And it has taken its toll because Mo has gone in their corner, and they now have tied it up at 44. And a Routinier, there's the guy who has been the hero. 21 points, 7 of 17, 7 boards, and 3 assists.
Desperately needed. Points out of Routinier today. I talked about the flex offense that Charleston Southern scored that last possession. Watch, a baseline screen set, the ball's reversed, and then you get another baseline cutter. Well, that's an offense that's been around for a lot of years, but still effective to use at certain times, and Tom Conrad used a good time to use it.
Mark Reed picked up that foul, his second and the team's 4th. Strong to the hoop, and he'll go to the free throw line. Brett Larrick went down very, very hard. They called an offensive foul. I beg your pardon.
Larrick over-penetrates. Watch, when he gets to this spot, just jump up and shoot the ball. Instead, that defense rotates over and draws the contact.
That's only the 5th turnover against them in this ball game. 3 fouls on Brett Larrick.
Ron, I'm going to throw out something amazing stat to you. Liberty is 21-0 on the year when they have the lead at the 5-minute mark. Now we're going to see at 5-minute mark who has the advantage.
Amaja couldn't get it to go, but they save it at a brand new 35 seconds. Brett Larrick handling the basketball. That's his brother, number 12, Adam. I mentioned that they're from Elyria, Ohio. They played together in high school, and in talking to Brett last night, he said it has been fun being able to play with my younger brother. We did in high school as well, and he's handled a lot of pressure. Here comes Brett. 1-on-2, gets it back, and a Routinier scores, and an opportunity for a 3-point play.
Huge basketball. Let's look at the defense last time by Liberty. Look at come over, double team the basketball, force it out of the hands of Brett Larrick, and then they're off to the races to the other end. But you talk about a great catch of the ball by Routinier in traffic. Everyone has to step up. Look at that guy. You talk about personality in championship week. You just made the highlight film.
Marcus White got the foul, his second. 5 team fouls on each.
Around their stages during the course of a season that everybody elevates their game. It's from practice to a non-conference schedule, non-conference to the conference schedule, and then the conference schedule to postseason. Everyone steps up to another level, or should.
Jackson off the mark on the 3-pointer. And right now, Liberty having trouble coming up with points.
See, they're back to the flex offense. There it is again.
A Routinier block. 3-pointer won't go, and let's see. He was off Marcus White. Peter Aluma got the block inside. And Jimmy, right now, Liberty's going to have to hustle to be in front at that 5-minute mark. We got 5:22 and counting left in our championship game. The title of the Big South. Will it be Charleston Southern? They've never been to the big party. Liberty, they've been once, 1994. Turnaround inside. This won't go. The follow won't go by Daniels. And it's Graham who comes away with the ball for Liberty. They can tie it or cut it to 1 here.
Liberty's still having all kinds of problems recovering that offensive set right now for Charleston Southern.
Boy, 1 quick shot, nothing. This run now 18-4 over the last 8.5 minutes. And you know, I think of the 4, White's 3-pointer and a free throw, that's all they got.
That's it. Now what this offense does, it allows you to take time off the clock. You set some good screens along that baseline. Defensively, you must communicate on the screen being set along that baseline. Now they go to a 1-4 flat for the Harutineer, who has a size advantage.
Adam Larrick way outside, had to get it off so he wouldn't get a shot clock violation, and they get a fresh 35. Here's Brett Larrick. 6 for him. And those two, huge. That is a 5-point lead all of a sudden for Charleston Southern, and they know that they are 4 minutes and 10 seconds away from going to the NCAA tournament for the first time.
Brett Larrick's so good off of the dribble. But again, the situation for Liberty is they force a shot with the clock running down. Boom, there's the result. They get the ball back, and Larrick jumps up and strokes it. Yes, sir.
Tom Conrad, as Jimmy mentioned, as he mentioned early on, has paid his dues. This school founded 1964, 2,500 is the enrollment. Of course, Charleston, South Carolina is where they are located. 3 Big South tournament titles, seeking their first trip ever to the NCAA Big Dance.
He told me last night it cost him $15 to recruit Brett Larrick. They were out of paid visits opportunities, and it cost him $15 to get a tape on the kid, and he got it and signed it.
Aluma takes it strong to the hoop, and he was fouled. And I think if that's on Daniels, that's 4.
Jeff Meyer told us before the ball game, our offensive attack must go through the hands of Peter Aluma. There's not a truer statement over the last 4 minutes of this ball game than to keep him involved, just for that reason right there.
Amijah is who they call a foul on. It's his 3rd, 16 fouls, so 1 away from the bonus as Aluma completes the 3-point play. He's now got 13 with 11 rebounds. This one ain't over. Don't go away. Here comes Brett. 1-on-2, gets it back, and Harutineer scores, and an opportunity for a 3-point play. Boy, and how big has this youngster been today? Comes into this game averaging 12.9, and right now he has scored a total of 24 points for Charleston Southern.
No fear out of that guy coming into the furnace.
Liberty knows. Great defense, and they got to start scoring some points. The run was 20-7 over the last 9 minutes and 55 seconds. That's what Charleston Southern had done to them. Reed battling hard, throws it back out, and it'll be retrieved by Brett Larrick. Well, Reed did everything he could, just didn't have a teammate in the vicinity. About to go under 3 minutes left in this one. 2-point lead, Charleston Southern. Brett Larrick. You can't keep him under wraps forever.
Why a lot of people thought he should have been player of the year in this league. I mean, you got to be prepared to defend him for 5, 6, 7 dribbles at a time.
White passed up that 3. You have to think that groin muscle were not bothering him, that he would have done it. And there's a foul on Daniels.
I mean, Larrick has all kind of problems with White just hounding him. Look at that. You talk about a pest defensively, but then his ability to keep that ball under control off the dribble, then elevate, doesn't over-penetrate this time, jumps up and shoots the ball down.
Foul on Daniels. It is his 4th. Well, now the big fella stepping up. Knows that it has to happen. He can cut it to 2 with this one. Aluma now 7 of 12 at the free throw line and a total of 15 points. And this crowd is up and they are making some noise. Foul called on Jackson. It's going to be the 16th foul on Liberty. Last year they lost this game. They were down by 5 at halftime. And as Mark Reed said, we just laid an egg in the second half. Well, they were up by 5 in this one today. Right now they trail by a couple.
That loss last year has driven this team all season. Oh, my goodness.
Aluma with a gigantic block. And if you think that didn't ignite this crowd.
They call this place the Furnace. The flex cut again, but watch. Peter illuminates the Furnace.
Strong inside and count the hoop by Winston Gordon.
I'm telling you what, that adjustment to go from that freelance offense to that flex system for Charleston Southern has really been huge last 4 or 5 minutes.
4-point game as we're about to go under 2 minutes left in this one. Gets it off to Graham. 12-footer not there. Aluma battles inside, and Arut Nair came away with the basketball. There's a push by Marcus White, and that's now 17 fouls on Liberty.
Well, if you're going to foul Adam Larrick, only a 56% free throw shooter on the year and limited attempts.
Yep.
Only about 1 a ball game. We'll see.
6 points for him. He's got 4 rebounds. Got them both.
That's a lot better stroke than 56% on the year, I guarantee you.
55-49, 6-point game. Charleston Southern with 1 minute 45 seconds left to go. And I mean, everybody is standing up now. Marcus White dealt it maybe a little late, saved out of bounds. And Marcus White picks up the foul in the backcourt with a hand check. 4 fouls on Marcus.
Ron, I mean, you just had the feeling, I did at least coming in, that Charleston Southern coming into the place known as the Furnace with 8,000 fans against them. They weren't going to back away today. I mean, they've already knocked off the #1 seed. They played Liberty tough, and that guy right there, Errol McPherson, the point guard that's out, he told me yesterday, he said, we will not be out-coached in a ball game. They have tremendous respect and belief in their head coach. Very important.
Tom Conrad, 16-12 overall. Aluma makes it a 6-point ball game, and immediately a timeout is called with 1:26 to play. We'll take the break with them. We'll be right back with more from Lynchburg after this.
In Boston, Pat Garrity has scored 33 for Notre Dame. The lead for BC won. Danier Abrams, a huge hoop. The Eagles up 3 at the free throw line. We'll keep you updated. Ron and Jim.
Well, here's our situation, 57-51. The #4 seed last night, Tom Conrad's team knocked off the #1 seed. And this afternoon, they lead the #2 seed, the Liberty Flames, here on Liberty's home court by 6 with 1 minute 22 seconds to play.
Well, Liberty's forced to extend their defense now, and they have to gamble. I mean, they've got to get out and overplay and try to get a call to go their way.
It's going to be a block on Sorensen. Well, coming up next, the Ohio Valley Championship. Murray State against Austin Peay, the Ohio Valley Championship. That is immediately following this one from here in Lynchburg. And we have 60 seconds left. McPherson on the bench. He's done everything he can as an emotional leader over there.
Ron, if Charleston Southern hangs on, they will enter that NCAA field as probably a number 15 seed, which would match up with a number 2 type seed like a South Carolina, a team they've already beaten once this year.
Isn't that amazing? Both of these clubs have, right?
No, Liberty didn't. UNC Asheville did.
Asheville did,
but they're South Carolina's 0-2 against this conference.
South.
Yeah.
58-51. Under a minute and counting. Jackson with a 3. Not there. Sorensen battles for it, and Rutenier comes away with it. And White fouls. He's going to be gone.
These 15 seeds haven't had a lot of success in the tournament. Remember back in '91 when Richmond knocked off Syracuse. Santa Clara did a number on Arizona in '93.
That's right. And those are the only 2 in tournament history, aren't they?
Yeah.
Marcus White has fouled out. White leaves with 8 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. He was 3-11 from the field, hit 2 3-pointers, and played throughout the day with a very sore groin muscle. The difference in this ball game is in the second half, the length of time that Liberty went without scoring.
Well, it was that plus Charleston Southern, their ability to keep this game in a tempo and a flow that they wanted. I mean, the thing's in the 50s. They've done it by limiting the turnovers. They've done a nice job of rebounding the basketball. Tell you what, they've defended well, too, and those are the key ingredients to pulling off an upset on the road.
So substitution. Elam came in for a moment so he could get some playing time in his championship game, and immediately Adam Larrick is back out on the court. 48 seconds, now 47. A 9-point lead for Charleston Southern. Is that 3 off the mark and rebounded by Jeff Daniels. Tom Conrad's team is about to head to the NCAA tournament. First time in the history of this school. You talk about tough odds. They have knocked off the #1 seed, and then they take on Liberty in their backyard this afternoon before a very partisan house. And it looks as though, unless an absolute miracle happens with a 10-point lead and 40 seconds to play, they're going to pull off another one in 24 hours.
Ron, and to compound the picture, they've done it behind 4 of 17 shooting by Larry. I mean, there's a guy that's averaging 19 points a game.
Rudnay with 24 points. Larrick now with 10. Three on the way, unlucky and will not go. As Boykin looked as though that he had the 3-pointer. Liberty scored only 7 points over a 10-minute period. 23 points for Charleston Southern over that same period of time.
You know, and Liberty had the advantage with an 11-point lead with about 10 or 11 minutes to go, and they just failed to close the deal. And this loss will set with these guys for 365 more days until that conference championship rolls around again next year. Twice in a row now they come up empty. How about the state of South Carolina in the NCAA tournament?
Well, these guys, College of Charleston, South Carolina, Clemson, pretty good representation.
Very good.
Coronado State. Sorensen will get the foul with 12 ticks left on the clock. And the Charleston Southern folks know that it is about to happen. So do the people on the Liberty bench. So with 12 seconds left, 17 points for Aluma, 8 for White, 8 for Jackson, 10 points for Reed. But Rutenier coming out of the ball game, and there's your guy, 24 points. And he averages 12, almost 13 a ball game, and he stepped up today when Brett Larrick had a cold shooting first half. Brett is going to wind up with double figures with 10 points. But if you give a player of the game, a routinier would have to be it.
You know, and it's the way they've won this championship. They lose their point guard that's all everything with a couple of games left in regular season. So they come in without him. Larrick has an off day, and they have to beat the #1 and #2 seed on their home court to do it. And my hat's off to that guy right there. They deserve to be celebrating on the sideline. Beautiful job this afternoon out of Tom Conrad and his guys.
Dave Bradley, sophomore from Massachusetts, checks into the lineup. Amajo knocks down that first free throw. He's got 4 now.
Ron, I tell you what, Liberty with 23 wins on the season, though, I think they should get a strong look for an NIT bid. Good team.
Jackson with the 3. 2 seconds down to 1, and the Big South Championship for 1996-97 belongs to Charleston Southern University. It is their 17th win on the year as they knock off the #1 seed last night and take care of the #2 seed this afternoon. So the celebration beginning here in Lynchburg, Virginia. First trip ever for them. Final again, 64-54 for Jimmy Dykes. Ron Franklin saying this has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's go back to Mike Tirico. Mike?
Well, Ron and Jimmy, thank you. So this could be the day that the big dance is known as the Charleston. Charleston Southern in. We'll see if the College of Charleston gets in as they play the TAC Championship later on. But another first-timer in the field. They join now Princeton and Minnesota. We have 3 of the field of 64. As we work our way to the Ohio Valley Championship at the top of the hour, let's check some other important games in the Pac-10. Cal against Stanford. Cal now starts life without maybe the Pac-10 Player of the Year in Ed Gray, playing Stanford, the big game hoop style. Brevin Knight in transition for Stanford. Pete Sauer beats Cal down the court. This is a very important game because, you know, Cal, which has won 9 of its last 11, will certainly be considered a little bit differently because their big gun Gray, who broke his foot in his last game out, is out for the rest of the season. Stanford leading by 10 at Maples. We'll keep you updated. We've been keeping a close track on this wild game in the Big East. Notre Dame, Boston College. BC up 7 at the break. Pat Garrity, maybe the Big East Player of the Year, brings the Irish back within 1. Danye Abrams inside the bang in the bucket for the man who's taken the most free throw attempts in Big East history. But Ardmore White and the Irish would not lay down. Even at 69, late in the game, you see the situation, and it's Abrams strong to the goal. BC manages the last minute better than Notre Dame. And Boston College beats ND 76-74. BC, likely with Villanova, will share the Big East 6 title. Boston College locks in the 3 seed. That means they don't have to play in the first round on Wednesday. A big edge in the Big East Conference. Speaking of the Wildcats, their lead was big at Rutgers, but now just a 10-point lead with 3.5 left in New Jersey. A Villanova win, they lock down the 1 seed. Rhode Island looking for win 18 on the season. Won the earlier meeting with Fordham and leading at Rose Hill as URI goes for a 5th straight win. St. Joe's looking to lock down the 1 seed, and they do in the Atlantic 10 tournament. They beat LaSalle in a tight one by 3, despite the huge game from Donnie Carr. What a season for St. Joe's. The finale for Dale Brown at LSU. Of course, an SEC tournament game lies in the balance, trailing Nolan Richardson's team by 4 at the half. Tennessee and Georgia. Georgia 3rd in the SEC East, leading Tennessee by 6 at Stegman Coliseum. Tennessee 4-11, bottom of the SEC East. Wake Forest off to an early struggle in Tallahassee against Florida State. Boy, what is the ACC tournament going to be like? This could help Duke and North Carolina, their seeding purposes as well in the ACC. And what would be an immense win for Tulane, about to close out Louisville, a team they have only beaten 5 of their previous 35 tries. Jody Nelson, their big man, has had a huge game. Tulane, with this win, will be the 2 seed in the Conference USA tournament. So coming up next, we will send our 4th team to the field of 64. It's the Ohio Valley Conference Championship game. 2 teams that have been to the big dance before.